Prayer is made up of 4 types of actions: petitions, praise, adoration, and thanksgiving. All of these we can see are present in our Sunday Gospel. Last week's readings reflect on faith, where the apostles asked Jesus to increase their faith. This week we have 2 aspects of faith: humility and gratitude. Our first reading and gospel passage talk about the disease of leprosy and its cure and the aftermath of leprosy. In the first reading, the first part we don't hear about today, but we hear the second part, which Naaman, a powerful general, is healed of leprosy from Syrian. He goes to Israel to get a cure and goes to Elisha, the prophet, to ask for a cure and healing. And Elisha asks him to wash 7 times in the Jordan River. But Naaman complains, thinking, why couldn't I do this back at my own home? His servants, though, talk him into doing it. And when he does do it, he is made clean and goes back and thanks Elisha for telling him to do that. Not only was his skin changed, but also his soul. And he praised God, bringing his whole household to believe in God. In our second reading, Paul advises Timothy to be grateful to God, even with his physical sufferings and dangers associated with Paul spreading the gospel, and he writes him from prison. The gospel, of course, is that journey to Jerusalem of Jesus, and 10 lepers approach him, and Jesus tells them to go and see the priest, a sign that they would be cured, that they were cured. Note that the lepers weren't cleansed when they left Jesus. It took faith and trust in God for the lepers to leave and to do what Jesus told them to do. It says that on the way they were healed. The point of the story is that 9 cured Jewish lepers did not return to thank Jesus, but only the despised foreigner, a Samaritan, came back to give gratitude and thanks that he was cured. And it was interesting to hear Jesus reply, where are the other 9? Did only one come back to give thanks to God? Here we have the 4 types of prayer that I mentioned at the beginning. The petition of the lepers, the faith response by leaving Jesus and going to the high priest, the granting of the petition and that they were healed, and the return to give thanks to God for their healing. Today's readings also remind us that faith and healing goes hand in hand. It was faith that prompted Naaman to plunge himself into the waters of the Jordan. And it was faith in Jesus that prompted the lepers to present themselves to the priest. The readings demonstrate the universal love of God that he has for all people, including the Samaritans, whom the Israelites hated, and the enemies of Israel, whom Naaman represented. Humility is the first step towards faith, being humble to ask and being humble to go back and give thanks to God for the request or petition that we asked him to do. It's interesting that neither Naaman nor the Samaritan belonged to the chosen people. They were Gentiles, yet they both came back to give thanks to God. How do we show our thanks to God for all that he does for us? Coming to Mass is one way that we give thanks, and of course, the word Eucharist means thanksgiving, that we come and thank God that he did give his body and blood so that we may be saved. When we celebrate Mass together, we are thanking God for the great gift of his Son's sacrifice, forming us into the people of God. We can also give thanks for the ways God takes care of us, supplying our needs every day as we ask Him and in the Our Father. So let us this week thank God and show gratitude for how He works every day in our lives with praise, adoration, thanksgiving, and petition.